Hi there folks, and welcome back to Airgun Reporter. My name is Paul Capello. For today's episode, we're going to check out an airgun I've been wanting to get my hands on since the SHOT Show 2012. I'm talking about the Crosman M4-177. You know, the mechanical heart of this multi-pump pneumatic air rifle goes back decades, but it's been upgraded by Crosman for the new millennium. First, we're going to go over some specs and details, and then, just like it says on the box, we're going to take it outside. Alright, let's start with the basics. The overall length of the M4-177 is 33 3/4 inches with the telescoping stock at full extension, and the rifle barrel is 17 1/4 inches long. The M4's shell is made from plastic and it weighs in at just under 4 pounds. Molded into the frame are 4 Picatinny rails, 1 on the upper receiver, 2 on the barrel, and 1 on the handguard, which is actually the rifle's pump handle. Both the front and rear sights are removable. The rear sight is adjustable for windage and has 2 aperture sizes. The front sight is adjustable for elevation by using a small tool hidden inside of the dummy magazine. A single 5-shot pellet clip is included in the package, and it loads into the breech just like the 760 Pump Master that the M4's mechanical platform was taken from. What looks like the safety lever is actually the loading port for storing about 350 BBs. The cross-bolt safety is located on the trigger guard. The internal BB magazine holds 18 rounds, and to load it, push the BB retainer button forward. Then tilt the rifle down and let gravity feed the magazine. Then pull the retainer button back to lock them in. The magnetic tip on the bolt probe feeds a single BB into the chamber, but you have to insert the pellet clip into the breech and then index it to an empty chamber. It should go without saying, but never shoot BBs and pellets at the same time. To give it a realistic look, the Crosman M4 has a lot of non-functional, molded-in features you'd find on a real carbine. A flash suppressor, hammer pin, trigger pin, magazine release button, bolt catch, a pivot pin, takedown pin, a magazine catch, forward assist, ejection port cover, charging handle, and even a delta ring. Okay, moving on to our first test, let's shoot some pellets over the cranny. I didn't have any Crosman wad cutter pellets, which I've heard shoots well in this rifle, so I grabbed a trustworthy tin of H&N Finale Match rifle pellets. I warmed up the seal and compression tube by pumping up the rifle for a couple of shots. I pumped up the M4 10 times for each cranny shot, which is the maximum recommended. Overpumping this rifle just leads to busted seals and all sorts of problems. And by the way, that's a brand new F1 cranny I'm using. I sort of accidentally shot the sensor of my last cranny one too many times. But it's sure to happen to any serious airgunner at some point, right? Anyway, here's the results using those H&N pellets. I got a low velocity number of 543, a high of 570, an average of 559, an extreme spread of 26 feet per second, and a standard deviation of 9 FPS. Next up, I tested the M4 using Crosman Copperhead BBs, and once again, 10 pumps for each shot. The results were a low of 567, a high of 585, an average of 576, an extreme spread of 18 FPS, and a standard deviation of 6.55. Now let's move on to the accuracy testing. I mounted a center point 6x32mm scope, aka the Bug Buster, on the M4 because I thought the compact style was a good fit. We'll use those H&N pellets first, then try out the Copperhead BBs. My target distance for this first group is 60 feet. Thus far in my testing, I pumped up the M4 about 200 times, and I was a bit twitchy. Next time I check out a multi-pump pneumatic, I think I'll do the accuracy testing first. Good idea. Well, okay, let's bring that target in a little closer, say 33 feet. I know the rifle can do better than that. Alright, well that's more like it. A group slightly less than 1/2 of an inch. Now to try out the Copperhead BBs. I left the pellet trap at 33 feet and switched the paper target out for a shoot-and-see target. You may have noticed the container of Daisy BBs on my table earlier, and I did try them out, but the accuracy just wasn't there at all. I think I'll stick with the Crosman BBs. Well, the wad cutters and BBs did perform well at closer ranges, but I think I'd like to find a pellet that can reach out to at least twice that distance. You know, whenever I'm testing out an air gun that uses either a clip or a magazine, I'm always curious to see if these ballistic tipped polymag pellets will fit inside of them. And to my surprise, they do fit in the clip for the M4-177. So what I'm gonna do is load them up, sight in these pellets, and see how they perform. This just might be good for small pest control. All right, let's get to it. Until I performed the trigger pull testing on the M4, I was under the impression that it was heavier than the 3-pound, 14-ounce average I got after 5 pulls on the gauge. What led to my impression is simply the long and springy nature of this single-stage trigger. Before I do the accuracy testing for the show, I often spend time getting a feel for the trigger throughout the cycle. To eliminate distractions, I'll even point the airgun downrange, close my eyes, and concentrate on the experience of my handhold, the feel of the stages on my finger, and the behavior of the gun when the trigger breaks. With the M4, you're shouldering it and getting a cheek weld like a rifle, but your brain is telling your dominant hand that you're gripping a pistol. It might seem a little strange at first if you're not used to it. Since this is a low to medium powered airgun with no recoil, it's not difficult to stay on target once you practice your trigger pull. I don't consider the Crosman M4-177 to be loud at all. In fact, I was more concerned with the decibel level of the pumping handle during testing than the rifle's report. After several shots, I reached a maximum of 96.3 decibels, which puts it in my category of medium backyard-friendly loudness. You know, you can call the Crosman M4-177 a dressed-up 760 pump master with a rifle barrel, but I wouldn't say it to its face. This is one mean-looking multi-pump pneumatic. With its instantly recognizable modern military styling and beefed up frame, it's sure to appeal to just about any airgunner out there. These things must be selling like hotcakes. And the M4 has variable power, so you can enjoy your rifle indoors and outdoors all year long. Now I know there's going to be some of you out there saying, "Aw, come on Paul, there's so much plastic on this gun, how durable is it?" Well, to be honest, only time, the amount of use, and the way you handle your M4 will dictate that. I pumped mine up about 1,100 times, and granted that's only 110 shots, but you saw my hand placement while pumping, and while that method might not be for everyone, it worked for me, and I didn't wind up stressing out the plastic frame. I was very satisfied with the accuracy of the wad cutter pellets once I brought that target in a little bit closer, but man, those ballistic tip Predator pellets out to 75 feet, grouping at 1/2 of an inch. In fact, it was just about 1/4 of an inch. This thing has awesome accuracy with those pellets. And let's face it, all that pumping, cocking, and indexing might not be for everyone, but that's the nature of most multi-pump pneumatics. It just is what it is. Now, I truly believe Crosman was looking towards the future when they chose the 760's platform for use in this unique rifle. I'm going to leave you with this thought. How about an AR-style pellet rifle based off the CO2-powered Crosman M4-177, a box-style magazine with a self-indexing rotary clip. That's some tasty food for thought. For Airgun Reporter, my name is Paul Capello. Until next time, shoot safe and have fun. Please remember, folks, air guns are not toys. Even the smallest calibers can cause serious harm if not used properly. And you should never, under any circumstance, point an air gun at another person. Parents, if you teach your children to shoot responsibly, they will have a lifetime of air gun enjoyment.